Thank you for joining me on this sumo technical journey, which has now reached the final 6 winning moves of the current 82. These are collectively known as the Sorite, based on the word soru, which in sumo refers to a backward bending body, thus effectively a backdrop. The one deployed by Ura last November was Izori, written with the characters to stay and to bend back. You drop your hips when pressure is applied from above, clamp his inner arm, and use your head and opposite shoulder to flip him over your back. With Kazori, let me show you how Ura tried to perform it last year. He first grabbed the upper arm and slid his head underneath, then tried to scoop Wakamoto Haru's trailing leg from below. He then needed to flip him over his back as if putting on a tasuki, one of these sashes worn by politicians, runners, and, by the looks of things, fire safety officers. On this occasion, our technical wizard failed, but he did succeed against the far heavier Amakaze in 2017. If we add the word soto, or outside, we get Soto Kizori. To perform, instead of ducking the attacking left arm, Ura would have to keep his head up and seize the wrist with his right, then spin his back into his foe's face, and then reach over the top with the left to scoop the trailing leg, not underarm, but overarm, and basically with a pronated grip pulling the leg up. For the record, this move hasn't been done in the past 5 years. Neither has Shumokuzori, which builds on Kizori by requiring the attacker to lift the defender onto his shoulders before bending back and throwing. Shumoku is the word for wooden bell hammer. I guess that's what a wrestler carrying another flat across his shoulders is supposed to look like. The similar Kakezodi has seen light of day since 2016, but only on 4 occasions. This involves seizing the foe's inside hand and raising it over your shoulder, sliding your head out of the armpit, bending back into him, and then either throwing or crushing him down. Tsutae can be used to mean exert, and I believe this refers to the exertion of pressure from the winner's back. Kakezodi, the trip and bend, seems a glorified version of kirikaeshi, featured in the video link above. Here, instead of grounding the knee behind your opponent's, you use it to hook and lift his leg, then bury your head in his armpit and flip him backwards. And so, that concludes our review of the 82 sumo techniques, or kimarite, literally deciding hand, or deciding move. There haven't always been this many. Sumo actually started out with 48, then expanded to 68 in 1955, 70 in 1960, and the current 82 only in 2001. According to veteran coach Oyama, who led the last review and remains sumo's technical guru, the 12 most recent additions, including the above-mentioned Kazori, were a response to the acrobatics performed by Mongolians joining post-1992. They would turn up at sumo school, win in all manner of strange yet impressive ways, and get their coaches wondering how on earth to describe their feats. And Coach Oyama couldn't simply pluck new technical terms out of thin air. They had to be based on existing sumo literature, much of it written in outdated Japanese, requiring scholars to decipher. That's why even new techniques like tsumatori and tokkuri nage have old-sounding names referring to kimonos and tokkuri sake bottles, which aren't exactly as prevalent as they used to be. But the fact these new ways of winning were created marked a rare example of sumo enacting dramatic change in response to new situations. Coach Oyama is also heavily involved in the calling of techniques on match days. It is the job of the off-duty referee on the mic to announce them to the audience, But if the bout is close and he has no idea, he must telephone the coaches on technical duty, who are in a separate room watching proceedings on a monitor. These coaches don't have long to decide, and sometimes have to prepare 2 possible answers depending on who wins a close call. And by their own admission, they don't always get it right. And I hope such stories contained in such videos, and there's still one more to come, have at least shown the world and language of techniques to be far more intriguing than the internet used to think. I will try to keep the light shining on sumo's inner soul.